bridge version of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. We're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes filling you in with what is happening around the world, the things, of course, making the rounds in the world of sports. And we want to start with what just happened a few minutes ago, still less than an hour. Our own Tobi Amusan has, of course, secured a spot in the final of the women's 100-meter hurdles. And, of course, that victory in its two makes it the third consecutive time that Tobi Express, as she's known, will be making it to the final, third consecutive time. And, of course, you already know she's the world record holder, and she's the world champion. And so she will be racing into the final. She stormed into the final with a time of 12.56 seconds to beat her closest rival in that heat. Akera Nugent was, of course, going away with it before Tobi caught up with her, and she was able to cross the line. Very close for the finish it was before she was able. Well, a lot of people have been comparing her time with other rivals, especially the ladies that won Heat 1 and Heat 3. We'll see what happens, but it must be said she is true to her third consecutive final, and wishing her all the best. I mean, we can't overemphasize that Nigeria's hopes rest on the shoulders of Tobi Amusan. And so, well, hopefully we'll be able to say congrats even after the final. Hopefully she will be able to win that event. All right, moving on, let's talk about what has happened today. Yesterday, the new sports minister, Mr. John Eno, of course, assumed office, and he went around, met with people. But today, he went on a tour, assessment tour of the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja. He went on an assessment of the facilities to see the state of things right there. Of course, he embarked on the inspection with his team, and they were able to look at the velodrome, the main bowl of the stadium, the facility building, the athletes hotel, Federation and Elite Athletes Department. They also looked at the power technical building as well as other facilities in the edifice. Worthy of note was what the sports minister said today. He says his office will be in the National Stadium where everything is going on. He is not going to change his office. It will be there. The office he resumed in will be the office he will continue to use, because that's the heartbeat. That is where everything is happening. And the reason he gave is for proper monitoring and coordination of events. Let's listen to the Sports Minister, John Eno, speak about this, and we'll come back for more Sports Tonight.
We're trying to be as systematic as we can. You know, today we are following up with this facility tour, you know, because whatever innovations you want to bring, whatever funding you want to request, whatever you want to do, you also have to do that from a point of knowledge. And I think that that's the knowledge that I'm acquiring. I mean, from yesterday and today, it's to show you how very, quickly, you can learn, especially if you have the commitment and the passion. I mean, before the tour started, the PEMSEC and I had some discussion, about some offer to move, my office, to the Federal Secretariat. And I told him that, the first office that I was moved to, it's right in the stadium immediately after I was inaugurated. And that office that I'm operating from as of now is the office I like to have as my permanent office. I mean, I don't have any business going to any Federal Secretariat. I like to operate right from the stadium. And I think, in the course of this tour, I've already indicated and directed the permanent secretary that every other department of sports, wherever it is located, needs to be relocated back to the stadium. I mean, we got, and the permanent secretary is already working on having to allocate offices to those departments that are not yet here. I mean this ministry is a ministry that, I need to be where the action is, where the athletes are, where footballing is taking place. I mean, I don't, even for coordination, it's important that I operate from here.
All right, the right words coming from the sports minister. He wants to be where everything is happening for proper monitoring and coordination. He has turned down the offer, in his own words, that he was given to, of course, relocate his office, and he wants to. And he has also said all those federations that do not have their offices at the stadium will be told to do so. So interesting times ahead. We will see what will happen. And of course, he said yesterday when he had a briefing with the media, he says, look, you don't have to be an ex-international. You don't have to be a former sportsman to succeed as a sports minister. And he also talked about, of course, today he says, look, whatever plans you have to know what is on ground to help you do what you want to do and execute your plans. All right, this is wishing the sports minister all the best. Let's move on the show and talk about the FIBA Basketball World Cup. That will be taking place in 3 different countries, in Indonesia, in the Philippines, and in Japan. It was meant to be 5 countries, but it's pruned down to 3. Now you have, of course, Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan. But let's talk about Team USA, the team everyone expects to go into the tournament and win the tournament. But of course, they've been talking about, Team USA have been talking about it. Their coach, Steve Kerr, has been talking, and one of the players as well. He acknowledges that FIBA rules are slightly different from what obtains in the NBA, so it might pose a bit of a challenge for Team USA, but Team USA is ready to get things done. Let's listen to, of course, Steve Kerr, the coach of Team USA, and some of the players.
The FIBA rules are different for us. The pace of the game is different. It's more physical, and so we had a good schedule to play against very good teams. Spain and Malaga, Germany and Greece and Abu Dhabi. Really good teams, and we need every bit of experience because we know how good the teams are in this World Cup.
You have rule changes, you can hit it off the rim, or you can, defense can stand in the paint for however long you want. So I feel like we can use those to our advantage. We got, really good shot blockers, especially JJ, down there in the paint, and he don't have to leave. He's always that presence at the rim. So I feel like you can, use those to your advantage.
We are passionate about 2 things in Nigeria. The first is football. The second is our rice. And nobody celebrates like a Nigerian. So, for every goal scored, every mark made, you can be sure to always come back home to rice. Celebrate with Nigerian Premium Big Bowl Rice, homegrown just like you. Big Bowl Rice, tasty rice, nourished you.
Welcome back. Before we went on that break, you listened to the coach of Team USA as they prepare for the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup, the men's category. And of course, the United States is preparing. They're set to compete against New Zealand in their opening game on Saturday. The tournament starts on Friday. Team USA will play on Saturday. Team USA will play all of their games in Manila, but other group phase matches will also be held in Japan and Indonesia. All right, so interesting times ahead. Let's see what's going to happen in that one. All right, let's move on and talk club football now and go to England. That's our next port of call. And just quickly tell you that the transfer saga has come to an end. Bernardo Silva will stay at Manchester City. It's been rumored that he was going to Barcelona. Some said he was going to the Saudi Pro League. But it's all settled now. Bernardo Silva will stay at Manchester City until at least 2026. He has signed a new contract that keeps him with the Premier League and European Championship. Silva had been linked with the transfer window move from the Etihad Stadium. It was thought that Barcelona was interested in the Portuguese winger, and that didn't happen. At some point, he was also thought to be on his way to Saudi Arabia. Bernardo Silva joined Manchester City in 2017, and he has scored 55 goals in 308 appearances, while amassing an impressive haul of silverware for Pep Guardiola's side. And those titles include 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, and of course, the Champions League. So it's all settled now. Bernardo Silva will be available for Manchester City, and he will be able to, of course, contribute his quota to the progress of the club, especially under the manager, Pep Guardiola, who a lot of people seem to believe is the best manager in football currently. Let's move on now. We're going to come home now and talk about the League Bloggers Award. Of course, players have been recognized, players, coaches, and people in football on the domestic scene being recognized for their achievements in the last calendar year, in the last season. It's been interesting. The League Bloggers Award has been on for a while, and of course, what they do is to recognize achievers, people who have excelled in the league, and it's been on for a while. And pictures on your screen, some of the players and some of the coaches that were given awards for their stellar performance in the just concluded season. Let's take some reactions from this. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
There's always a prize for hard work, dedication to your job, and while I was young, there's a saying that there's always a prize for everything. But today I got to find out this is very, very possible, and that is the dividend of what I just got today, and I'm so happy to got that. And secondly, I think it's the right tonic in the right direction presently for us, knowing fully well that we are facing a second leg of Champions League by the weekend. Imagine 2 of my players also getting an award. I think it's enough motivation for us to go to face the second leg.
It was conceived in 2009 as an online award, but 2012 we've been doing things like this, getting the players together and celebrating them, because they are stars of the game. And for the LBA, we believe that greatness begins here. For some players, they think that when they get abroad, that's where greatness begins, and that's what we're trying to change. Greatness begins from here, from Nigeria. Now, whatever it is you achieve as a player, you're great, you deserve it. I mean, it can take you to the national team, it can take you outside the country, and so we want to also make players understand the concept of personal branding. When you understand that you're a personal brand as a player, then you begin to manage yourself in that way. The way you play, the way you talk, off the pitch, they can become personal brands and begin to think of ways to even market their images. All right, winners emerging at the awards. You listen to Daniel Ogumodede. He was the League Bloggers Coach of the Year. He currently works with Remo Stars. And of course, Ojekere Aikoje, friend of the house, also the initiator of this. And you talked about everything, the reason behind it, and it's a way to promote the domestic league. Let's see if time allows us to give you a slice of tennis on the show. We've been talking about the tennis clinic organized by a former tennis champion. And of course, that tennis clinic has ended in Lagos. And of course, we're talking about this because it's all about grassroots sports development. It's all about discovering talent and nurturing them to stardom. Some of these kids probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to hold a racket, get training, get the chance to play the game they love. But this opportunity comes and it helps them to do what they love to
to do and also get a chance to improve. And of course, winners also emerge from there. Some players rewarded via the coaching clinic, all right? Interesting times ahead. And we're hoping that all of this will culminate and lead to a point where we will have a large pool of stars to pick from. And of course, Nigeria will not be lacking in any sport. It's always a dream to be a multi-sport nation. We're capable of doing it. We are hugely talented as a nation. And it is no surprise that things like this get the attention that it deserves. Let's take some reactions from this, and we'll come back to wrap things up on the show.
I feel so good, and this is my second time, so I'm very, very happy to win this tournament.
The tournament is a really good tournament and all the players here are really grateful for having the opportunity to partake in the tournament. And I want to say a word of thanks to the organizer, because it really means a lot to us, because there are not a lot of tournaments.
Gives me nostalgia. It reminds me of 20 years ago when I was playing exact tournaments like this in the same club. I understand what it feels like for these kids to play this tournament. I understand how they feel, the winners. I feel like I'm experiencing those emotions again. So I'm sure the kids are happy, and that's all that matters. From the next one, we expect it to be our next tournament to be UTL rated tournament. So the kids that participate will be getting UTL points. That's what you'll be looking forward to.
All right, Fuad Quadri there speaking on his plans to develop the game, and the kids also expressing their appreciation for the organizers of the tournament. That's how we wrap things up on the show. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you on this abridged version of the show. We'll be back again tomorrow. Join us again. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.